Welcome back to 630 Point of View. I'm Scott Hennon in for Chris Berg tonight. And our next guest is a member of the Public Service Commission. There are 3 Public Service Commission members in North Dakota that you vote for. This gentleman is from Hazen, North Dakota, also known as coal country. And there is a war on coal in this country, and there is a big target on the state of North Dakota as well, thanks to the EPA's Clean Power Plan. Joining us now to talk about it is Randy Christmann. Commissioner Christmann, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine, Scott. Thanks for having me on.
Tell every North Dakotan, and for that matter, folks from Minnesota and everywhere else that are watching tonight, what exactly will happen if the EPA gets its way with the Clean Power Plan?
Well, a couple of things, Scott. And first of all, before I start, I think the one thing that always needs to have people reminded of is when we're talking about CO2, we're not talking about mercury or sulfur dioxide or something like that that you see or smell or taste. CO2 is what do you exhale with each and every breath that you take. So that's what we're really talking about here is CO2. And I think probably the most important point I can make, because most people have heard about the Clean Power Plan, know it's this big CO2 emission reduction by 2030, and I think the EPA used that 2030 number intentionally because it sounds so far away, but the reality is, as dramatic as this reduction would be by 2030, we're actually forced to be on a glide path to reaching that, and if we do not achieve the interim goals, the reductions at 2030 would be even more dramatic than what's been talked about. So the reality is, Scott, we have to have about 2/3 of those reductions done by 2022. So we're not talking about a decade and a half, we're talking about 6 years to get most of this done. And what they're essentially doing, the EPA is really trying to bully the states into accepting responsibility for this by urging us to adopt a state implementation plan. And the way I have referred to it to a number of folks is, it's sort of like if someone was going to steal your car and you told them you would drive it down to the chop shop for them because it's your car, you'd be more cautious with it than they would. But at the end, no matter what, you lost your car. And in this case, we can do a state implementation plan, or we can have them implement it, but at the end, the dependable and affordable power that we've become accustomed to in North Dakota is going to be gone, Scott.
Well, I think that's the issue we need to
back.
Because I think some people can listen to what you say and say, sounds like a fight for the the coal companies and the power plants, but how does it affect me? And when you talk about 2 things you just mentioned, affordable and reliable. Again, tell our viewers what it will mean for their bottom line when the bill from Cass County Electric shows up, or Nodak Electric, or their local power company, XL Energy, for instance. What will that mean?
Good question, Scott. There's a number of different things that we could do to supposedly implement this, and if there were time, I'd go through them and show why most of them don't work. But at the end, there's really one thing at the core of this that has to be what we use in order to meet these needs, and that is they want to force us into allowing our energy companies to enter into emission credit markets where they continue to produce the CO2, but they buy emission credits to make up for them. And if that sounds like President Obama's cap and trade plan from 2009 that the Democrat Congress wouldn't even pass, you're very astute, because that's essentially what it is.
Actually, the word I was going to use...
Because this isn't a real market...
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was
yes?
sorry to interrupt, but I was going to use the word extortion. Actually, is what it sounds like to me, because it's basically saying, do it our way, and by the way, we'll let you break the rules as long as you pay us money.
Very good point. And because it's not a real market that's made by supply and demand, it's something that's being created here, it's hard to really get a handle on what the cost would be. Now, I think it's going to be much more than this, but the EPA, buried in these 1,560 pages, actually throws out a number. They figure $30 a ton, and they're trying to force North Dakota to reduce by about 12 million tons per year. So if you do the math and use their number, which again I think is way understated, that's $375 million per year for a small state like this. When we have rate cases, that involve increases of $2 or $3 a month on electric or gas rates cases. People are worked up about that because they consider that a big increase. This will be a magnitude of many times beyond anything we've ever seen before when it comes to increased rates.
And again, listen up if you're on a fixed income. Listen up if you have a business and you're trying to produce something, because the cost of your goods are going to have to go up. I mean, this affects everything. The cost of electricity affects everybody. Not to mention, we don't have time to get into what it would do to reliability and what would happen as well. We only have a minute left, Randy, but before we go, I do want you to at least spend a little bit of time so people understand that there are a lot of people fighting on a number of different fronts, including going to court. North Dakota was really hammered, by the way, really targeted in this, singled out. As somebody said to me, in fact, it was Tony Clark, former Public Service Commissioner, said, I don't know who in North Dakota made Gina McCarthy, the EPA administrator, so mad, but clearly she was. They're coming for North Dakota. So we need to engage as North Dakotans to fight back. What can people do?
I think urge your legislators, your governor, and your attorney general to pursue this in court. That's where we need to stop this thing. And sadly, I'm confident that they're going to, but they need people behind them. Sadly, we're not allowed to try and stop it in court until they publish it in the Federal Register. The EPA, they've printed it. It's on the internet. We know what's in the rule, but they have chosen not to put it in the register and have thereby ran 2.5 months of the clock down on us of what's available for us to fight this thing. But hopefully, as soon as that hits the Federal Register, I'm hoping that the Attorney General will be in court and fighting this thing. And if we don't prevail on it, Scott, the people of North Dakota are going to see dramatic rate increases for the next decade and a half. And the reliability impact, I think, will even be far greater than the rate increases.
Great overview. Appreciate your passion on it. And I know coming from Hazen, this is important to you. This is not only livelihoods that have been there for generations as a result of what happens here, but it's also something that affects every single North Dakotan. Commissioner Christmann, thanks so much for the time.
Absolutely. Good talking to you, Scott.
Randy Christmann, Public Service Commissioner, our guest. What is trending? We'll find out about that after this short time out on 630 Point of View. Don't go away.